Hi, lovebirds. In this pick a card reading, we're going to be looking into the question, what are your finest qualities? What are people attracted to you for? There are three groups to choose from. Group one is this purple grape agate. Group two is the yellow carnelian. And group three is the green emerald. Up next is a close-up photo of these crystals. There are timestamps below if you'd like to jump ahead, and I will see you in just a minute for the reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the purple grape agate. So let's see, what are your finest qualities? What attracts people to you? Okay, and we've got her garden, the gathering, and a Samhain sending. So there's a sense that people feel that you move through the world in a very authentic way. You're somebody who presents as very comfortable in your skin, very adaptable within social settings. You are somebody who has the ability to talk to and relate to everyone, to make everyone feel very special, everyone feel very seen, everyone feel very important. There's a sense that people also notice that you're someone that others kind of naturally gravitate towards because of this authenticity, that you carry this kind of like leadership quality, or like in times of uncertainty, times of stress, times of trouble, you're the first one that people would look towards. So it's a sense of almost feeling as well that you have a lot to teach others, maybe something that you've had to learn through struggle, through a process of like shedding versions of yourself in order to come into this place where you have balanced your light and shadow in a very beautiful way of what it means to kind of like ride the waves of life, or change with the times, or learn to be very flexible and very adaptable. There's something in terms of like the way you even physically walk. There's like a poise to it. There's a grace to it. Like you don't just take steps, you move through environments. There's a fluidity to your movement. If any of you do yoga, for example, that has really helped like your flexibility. It is, physically, but it is also something that has helped your energy as well. Even if you are like stressed or in situations of stress or tension, there's almost like you're the calm within the storm. There's a centeredness within you that people are very much drawn to. They're very attracted to. With this card, this Samhain sending, there's also a sense that you leave a little something to mystery. So maybe this is the way that you dress. You know how to embody sexy and modest, like all in one. You're somebody that really, you share a lot about yourself. It feels like your energy is very inviting, or maybe you're someone that's very cordial. You're, again, like very easy to talk to, very approachable, but there's also a sense of like, there's a lot that's hidden about you. There's a lot that kind of like a casual acquaintance would have to sort of earn the right or the privilege to gain access to. There's a sense that people see that you may even be someone who's really good at kind of categorizing interpersonal relationships appropriately. Like you know how to separate friend and acquaintance. You're not somebody that is just kind of like, everybody come in close. Let me give everybody access to my energy. Let me let everyone into my interpersonal world. You're able to show up as like different versions of yourself within different situations in a way that speaks to a lot of self-respect or maturity, like personal growth that has had to happen, maybe from experiences where you just let everybody in too close. Nobody had to kind of like earn a place in your life, but where you're at this point in time, even what strangers are able to see is that it's kind of like you're very warm and receptive, but there's also a part of you that it becomes very abundantly clear that, you have self-respect, you have boundaries. And this is not to keep people out. It's almost like an incentive to others, like to take the time to earn the right to come in closer, or to at least be acknowledged and recognized for the choice to remain in more of like a peripheral role, or maybe something, just the necessity of those circumstances, that it's kind of like, yeah, I'll be warm and friendly, but I'm not going to let you totally into that, inner world, that inner sanctum, that kind of private life. So let's see what else your finest qualities are that attract other people to you. Okay, we've got King of the Darkwood Elves, authority, credibility, status. Fairy Godmother, revelation, discovery, epiphany. And Trickster, deceit, betrayal, guile. So there's a sense with this trickster energy that people really are drawn to the fact that you're able to dispel tension with humor. You may be somebody that is like the comic relief. You're not somebody that makes light out of other people's tragedy or has like an inappropriate sense of humor, but your laughter is medicine. Your laughter helps to kind of like ease the tension within circumstances, or to help people like look on the bright side of things. And that's something that it feels like kind of makes people feel very comfortable in your presence, that even if things get weird and awkward, you're not someone who's even kind of, afraid to sort of laugh at yourself. Like you can take humor in certain things about yourself, which makes you very relatable, very accessible. This energy of a fairy godmother speaks to almost like a generosity about you. So maybe this is like when you're talking to someone, you're very focused, you're actively listening, you're paying people attention. You're not just sort of like sitting there and waiting to get a word in edgewise, but people feel very like seen, very understood, or you're someone who makes the effort to understand other people, to see things from other people's perspectives. Something about how you spend your time and energy, or the focus and priority of your life, it also speaks to a level of like helping others. Like you're somebody that people feel like you've mastered the art of helping yourself and helping others. So you balance that in a very beautiful way that people find to be like a very attractive quality in you as a person. With this energy of the King of the Darkwood Elves, this is something that you also, you're in charge of like your feminine receptive energy, but there's something that you're also very comfortable stepping into the role of like a healthy masculine energy. You're not domineering or demanding, but there's a sense that you're just very assertive, which people find that to be very sexy. You know what you want, you know your own mind. You're very determined when you set your mind to something, or you have something, your heart set on something. You're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you're kind of like changing circumstances inside of yourself, or doing what needs to be done in order to align with those things. This is something where when you speak about your opinion about things, people really listen, because they see you as somebody that you're very almost like contemplative, or there's like a meditative energy about you. You may be a very deep thinker, or there's a sense of like you're very deliberate with your words. So anything that you kind of express out in that capacity in terms of advice that you give to other people, or opinions that you express on things, there's a sense of like you don't just sort of go with the crowd. You're not somebody that's afraid to be kind of that lone voice of dissension. You're not, afraid to kind of stand up for something or advocate for something, even if it's not popular, even if it's something where, you're needing to kind of correct other people with different sorts of information, that if people that have experienced you in that capacity where you've kind of had to been like, no, actually that's not correct. The truth of the matter is, whatever, you do so in a way that doesn't like bruise egos. You do so in a way that like holds space for and respects other people's perspectives and where they're coming from. Like you don't make people feel stupid or feel small when you're kind of like expressing your truth out. And that is the embodiment of like a true leader. So there's an attractiveness with that. People feel like, to be able to like get advice from you, get, exchange kind of opinions on life, or just sort of goings on of what's happening in one another's lives, that is something that one would walk away from very enriched. You're not somebody that is just gonna involve yourself in like idle chit chat or gossip. It's sort of like the words that you speak, they carry a gravity all of their own. There's an importance to that. And so that's something that people find to be very unique and very attractive. So let's get a couple more and see what else your finest qualities are. Okay, we've got weaver of the web of life, cooperation. Rise of the inner warrior, solidarity. And peace of the goddess, inner peace. Yeah, so there's more that energy of like the calm within the storm. You are somebody who is not afraid to march to the beat of your own drum, or to walk a lone or solitary path if you are unable to find resonant company or people that sort of add to the measure of what it is that you are bringing to the equation. People see even that element kind of mystery, you know, things that you sort of have going on in your private life, or maybe you're somebody that likes to spend a lot of time alone. You may be an introvert and you honor that about yourself, as opposed to trying to like overcompensate or perform or posture or be something that you're not. People find that to be very attractive. It entices these people, kind of like, I want to be part of that inner world. Like if you're just enjoying the pleasure of your own company, I'd like to be that person that is kind of like, you know, enjoying solitude with you. This energy of the rise of the inner warrior also speaks to a level of like personal strength and resilience that shines through in your energy, or maybe in things that are important to you, things that, you know, you involve yourself with socially or professionally, where you're like an advocate for other people. It's the energy of the underdog, but not just that you have risen or in this process of rising, but you're helping others. You give a helping hand to others. You motivate others. Even just your energy inspires others that there are different kind of ways of being. There are different ways of thinking. There are different ways of presenting oneself. And also this energy of like, you're not afraid to stand up for the voiceless. You're not afraid to like stand up for people in some way that are being like oppressed or overlooked, or aren't being treated fairly within a circumstance, even if you're like the only person coming to their rescue. That this is something people find to be very, very attractive, like a very, almost like it's coming through like an important quality. Like it's an important quality that really speaks to your humanity, not just as a cliche, but like you really are somebody who has like people's best interests in mind, or you're like a true humanitarian. This energy of the weaver of the web of life also just speaks to like you as the full package, the way that you dress, the way that you walk, the way that you style your hair, the way that you present yourself, the way that you speak, the things that you spend your time doing, the things that you avoid, the life that you've created for yourself in this very moment. All of it is something that is like a spectacle in the best possible way. You have a lot, it feels like, of people that admire you out loud, and a lot of secret admirers that are kind of like, they've never encountered someone like you. And there's a lot of curiosity because it feels like you keep a lot to yourself. You either keep to yourself a lot, or there's a lot about you that's a mystery, that's not kind of apparent on the surface. But people have this understanding that there's like more to you that meets the eye. There's these layers to you which kind of invite people to sort of show up and give more, be more consistent, or to be more authentic in their exchanges with you than they usually are with other people. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got C, B, B, R, Q, S, V, U, M, Y, O, T, and C. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the yellow Carnelian. So let's see, what are your finest qualities? What are people most attracted to about you? Okay, we have a gentle path of inspiration, the 13th Esbat, and she is moonlight shy. So these are the energies of your silence, your powers of observation, your intuitiveness, maybe things that you've kind of shared intuitively with others that have proven to be true, have aligned with certain things, might have even been like of benefit to people that you could have just said as kind of like bits of guidance, bits of wisdom, intuitive hits that you received, downloads that you received, the fact that you even kind of think of such things, or speak in such terms, or in some sort of way that these are part of like your spiritual life, or the way in which you process reality or experience reality. These are qualities that are very alluring to others. These are qualities that speak to a deep level of wisdom that is not something which is learned, but something inherent within you that a lot of people find to be very mysterious. There's like a powerful energy that surges inside of you that you may still be in the process of exploring and coming to understand, or it's something that you don't really like share with other people. Maybe part of like your spiritual practice, and you sort of just, you live that, you walk your talk, but it translates out in your energy or in the ways in which you have interactions and conversations with people, even the ways in which you hold space and kind of, read other people's energies before you decide, like, am I going to participate with you, or are you someone I'm just going to, kind of observe from afar? I'm going to love you from a distance, or I'm going to let the opportunity to explore something further with you pass by. These are things that people are very like drawn to, this kind of mystery about you. There's like a witchy energy about you as well that could have to do with sort of your energy or your aura in general, or even the way that you dress, that speaks of seduction. It speaks of magic. It speaks of mystery. It speaks of ancient energies. There's like an ancient power which is apparent inside of your essence, that it feels like for a lot of you, you've deliberately been sort of tapping into this current to honor this part of yourself, to explore this part of yourself, to hold this part of yourself very close and very close to the surface. And so people find that to be very attractive. So let's see what else your finest qualities are that draw people to you. Okay, we have Holva, prophecy, guidance, direction. Awen, gift, divine inspiration, awakening. And Astrid, love, fire, sensuality, fertility. Yeah, so that's more of that confirmation with Holva of the witchy aspects about you, the intuitive aspects about you, the fact that it's like you may seek advice and guidance from others, but you're somebody who keeps your own counsel. Your relationship with your spirit guides, with your spirit team, whether you are vocal about that or it's just something that is, kind of private between yourself and them, this is something which has translated into your energy in the way that you carry yourself, the way in which you see beyond the surface of things. Something about your eyes as well is like a very physically attractive quality about you, but there's like an ancient energy that sort of peers through you. A lot of people may almost feel like they're looking into eternity when they look into your eyes. For some, it may be very hard to maintain eye contact with you because people feel very seen, like very seen at a soul level in your presence, which may be a new or unusual or uncomfortable experience. But for other people, it's almost like they feel that you're someone that could understand them, or that you're very familiar. You may have encountered a lot of like past life soulmates so far in this life, or people that you shared past lives with. There's an energy here about like your energy activates others, your presence activates others. There's something in kind of the nature of even just talking about like, mundane things, small talk with other people, but having that sort of eye to eye contact with others, it's like it unlocks doors within people where people walk away from conversations with you change, not just in terms of like you've changed their mind or changed their perspective, but energetically something awakens within others. You are what others might consider to be an awakener. There's something otherworldly, there's something mysterious, but not in a way that kind of brings up fear, but it's like you evoke a lot of curiosity within people. Not just that people want to get to know you as a person, but it's like people want to peer beyond the curtain. You cause people to sort of feel things more deeply inside of themselves, maybe emotionally or even just their own perceptions of self through the ways in which time spent in your presence or in your company has this kind of activating or awakening effect. And it may also be in terms of like the things that you talk about or the things that you focus on. It sort of provides a different perspective as far as like the way in which people can move through the world, the things which you hold important, which you hold to be kind of relevant. You may also be an artistic person, and so anyone that has seen your artwork in whatever modalities or mediums that you work with, there's something that people find that to be very attractive about you. You're able to capture feelings and movement and things in kind of a visual or even an abstract way that is very not just thought-provoking but very emotionally moving. Something as far as like your art, or even the fact that you might not share it publicly, but you may just be like, yeah, I'm an artist, or I have these things that I do, or something that is like the residual effect of when you're in that creative flow, when you're in the process of kind of like doing your artwork. There's something where it's like you stand at the threshold of like a portal between realms. You yourself are a portal between realms, and people find that to be very, very inviting, very alluring. So let's get a couple more and see what else your finest qualities are that people are attracted to. Okay, we have Witch of the Winter Woods, healing. Artemis of the Wild, mercy. And Medusa, sacred rage. Yeah, so this Medusa energy, this is more of that artistic energy, some way in which people consider you to be an alchemist. You're able to alchemize your suffering into a thing of beauty, even if that's something that takes place behind the scenes, something that you do intuitively, something that's part of your spiritual path or your practice, especially for people that have seen like many different evolutions of you or have some kind of understanding of like your backstory versus who you are at present. People see you as a living work of art. In circumstances where you feel like you have been denied justice, or things, didn't work out in your favor, or kind of life didn't go as planned, you're somebody who has managed to not just pick up the pieces and move forward, but you've kind of like filled in that sort of brokenness almost with gold. There's a light that shines through your scars that is very, very captivating, very alluring to others. There's also a sense of your willingness to, kind of embody maybe alternative ideas and alternative way of lives of living as compared to people around you or people that others typically meet, even within like a community, a spiritual community or an artistic community. It's kind of like the way in which you work with certain themes, ideas, modalities, practices, beliefs, you put a very unique spin on things. You're somebody that stands out even within the crowd. You're somebody that gives others a lot of grace to kind of just have their way, have their method, have their beliefs, because it's like beyond sort of the material, you're tapped into a very different current. You get your news from a very different source, and it's apparent that that is your intuition. You invite people to kind of face their fear as well and step beyond that threshold of kind of things that might be considered taboo or occult or unknown or kind of, visionary, even things that people might either not have a lot of information about, or that had been like demonized in their upbringing, or that, there's kind of just assumptions or stigmas attached to these things. Any of that you embody, even if it's just this kind of quiet quality of ancient knowing and mystery that's held in your eyes that you might not even be able to name or describe fully. There's something which encourages people to sort of be brave and lean in closer, to look closer, look beyond the surface, to reimagine everything they thought they knew, and to accept something that is almost like an invitation within your presence, within your gaze, within kind of the essence of who you are, to kind of dream bigger, to start dreaming again, to kind of open up to another side of life or another side of reality that typically goes unnoticed, or is something that is a bit out of the ordinary. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got E, G, C, I, W, P, D, U, V, N, F, A, S, U, J, L, and G. So those are your messages. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the green emerald. So let's see, what are your finest qualities? What are people most attracted to within you? Okay, we have the comforts of friendship, ancestors and apples, and her book of shadows. So there's a sense that you always come correct. You always speak the truth, even if it's a hard truth. You're somebody that's very direct. People are very attracted to and find your honesty to be very refreshing within this world of illusions, or where people kind of like tiptoe around egos, or are, afraid of kind of being, the lone voice that suggests something else beyond what the crowd is saying or doing. And you're not that person. You're kind of like the opposite of that in a way. Your beliefs are your beliefs. Your truth is your truth. And this is something that people are, you've almost like changed certain people's perspectives or minds about certain things. And there's a sense of almost seeing you as a person who holds a key to freedom for others, in terms of your willingness to kind of like choose for yourself, to embody the nature of free will, or, critical thinking, or or, you know, just kind of like not sort of taking the first thing that you're handed. Like you're somebody that does your research. You're very thorough and kind of like forming your own opinions. You don't just sort of like hear gossip about something or someone and you jump on the bandwagon. It's like you think for yourself. And this is something which people are very drawn towards because they see you as someone very trustworthy. You may be somebody who's really good at like keeping secrets, keeping other people's counsel. You're not just somebody that is kind of like sharing other people's business or airing other people's dirty laundry. There may have been people that have confided certain things in you, even that you've had like fallings out with that are not part of your life anymore, and yet you're not that person that's kind of stooping to that level of, you know, like a smear campaign or, you know, sharing all of the like deep personal secrets or unpleasant experiences about other people. You're somebody that you know, you have like a high level of self-respect, and you show respect to others, you know, even in ways in which you know, are delivering some kind of truth. There's like a dignified energy in that. There's a sense as well that you kind of, you break the mold in a lot of ways for people's expectations of somebody like you. So based on like environments that people encounter you in, maybe this is work, this is like social circles, your family circle, like people that know your family, or this can even relate to like family members, you know, or even like romantic interests and how they see that you could be somebody who is like that generational curse breaker, or you're somebody that, you know, might resonate as like the black sheep, for example, or the goat within the family, that there's a lot of respect and like attraction that people have to that, that it's a very, you're very brave for being yourself, and you inspire others, it feels like, to be themselves as well. There's a sense that people feel like your friend group is also sort of a menagerie. Like you may have a very diverse friend group, or a lot of different things that are part of your like interests, or part of your, you know, knowledge and awareness, or part of the things that you do or participate with. And this is something where people feel very welcome in your presence, like welcome to sort of join in, welcome to be a part of something, that it's not just through you that they experience maybe like a different way of being or thinking, or a different way of life, but through your associates, through the people that you call friends. It's like people are very attracted to the fact that it's like I'm experiencing like whole different sides of life through kind of like the world that you've created for yourself, or who you've brought in close to your reality. There's a sense as well that your voice is something that people find to be very, very attractive. Your voice is almost like a lullaby. Like there's a certain tone in your voice that helps kind of like bring people to a place of calm, bring people to a place of certainty. When you are impassioned about something, when you are speaking with emotion about things, you encourage others to get very excited. It's very appealing to sort of watch you in the midst of even like talking about things that matter to you, or things that are very exciting to you. There may be something in terms of like the way in which you tell stories, even that you're very animated. You know, you're a really good storyteller. You're not just sort of like boring people with details, but you're able to kind of make things, you know, fun, like an adventure, even if it's something just very ordinary. People are like on the edge of their seats, or like, what are you going to say next? How are you going to interpret this? What are you going to say about that? But it's not in a way that is kind of, again, filled with like gossip, or you know, sort of like sharing other people's, you know, goings on. There's something where, you know, you're very like focused in the here and now. You're very respectful of other people's boundaries, and you're able to kind of take other people on an adventure through your choice of words, through the way in which you know, tell stories or relate events to people. You describe things, you depict things, even like the way in which you sort of let people get to know you, how you describe yourself, how you share bits of information about yourself. But then also your voice itself, it's very sexy, it's very calming. There's like a medicinal quality to your voice. So let's see what else your finest qualities are. Okay, we have the elf queen, introverted, burden, responsibility. Before the gathering, celebration, anticipation, event. And the golden unicorn, protector, guardian, champion. Yeah, so you're somebody that is very unforgettable in a lot of ways. Even people that have like just very brief encounters with you, they remember that. They remember you. You're somebody that even if you're sitting silently within a crowd of people or within a room of people, there's something about you that just kind of like draws attention. There's something about you which is aligned with this energy of truth, that you have a very awakened presence. Your aura itself may even have like a golden halo or a golden quality about that, that even to people who don't read energy and aren't sensitive to things like that, they pick up on that signal, which speaks of a very high frequency. I'm hearing you give a really good party. So those of you that have, thrown parties, maybe you're a party planner, you're the type of person that will, remember other people's birthdays. You remember special events and occurrences. You've given surprise parties for people, or, even kind of just like hanging out with you is like a party. This is bringing to mind almost like if you've helped people move or pack up, belongings for something, that even that kind of drudgery, it's a party. Like you're the life of the party. You're a light within a lot of people's lives, and so this is something that people are attracted to. That like you're a very fun person, you're a very lively person. With this energy of the elf queen, you carry yourself with a lot of dignity. There's a regal quality about you, that is very unmistakable. Even if you're like in sweats, in the big sunglasses, you just come from the gym, or you're just like running out and doing some errands very quick. You're not like all sort of dolled up, or you're just trying to like move incognito. There's something about you again where you stick out. You're very noticeable. You look good even in the most like casual things. Even if you wake up late and you just sort of throw something on and you're out the door, there's like, you look very put together. Your way of dressing, your way of accessorizing, your way of kind of like dressing for the moment, dressing for the mood, or maybe you're a very extravagant dresser. It's bringing to mind like party dresses, or, if you go to costume parties and kind of maybe you make your own costume, or it's something that's very different, or your interpretation of things is very different. It's like a very unique sense of style that there's a lot of people that look up to that. They emulate that. They're kind of like, yeah, that you look really good. You're a really snazzy dresser. You've got a unique sense of style. You know what works on your body. You may also be somebody that helps others, like without sort of being critical of others' choice in attire, the way they present themselves. If you've given other people suggestions about like, hey, this would look good on you, hey, you should try this, you do so in a way that doesn't like make people feel offended. It doesn't make people feel like, oh, is there something wrong with me? But it's like, yeah, that's really good advice. Like you've given people good fashion advice. You've given people good, even like health advice. Anything you do as far as like supplements or diet, or beauty routines, beauty processes or standards, or things of that nature that you've shared with other people. It's like good advice. It's not just fads or trends, but it's something that like, yeah, other people have found value in that. Or the way in which your own kind of, beauty rituals and beauty routines that you do regularly, that you commit yourself to. This is something that really makes you shine. It makes you glow. Like your skin is very glowy. It's very dewy. There's something about you that just kind of speaks of this freshness. So let's get a couple more and see what else your finest qualities are that people are drawn towards or attracted to. We have Medusa, sacred rage. Beset and Sekhmet, ferocious femininity. And the sacred rebel, humility. Yeah, so anybody who has like been to your house, they love your sense of personal style. This can even translate into the way that you dress. And this will apply for some people, but if you like work in an environment where there's like a certain dress code, a code of conduct, or you're wearing a uniform even, it's like you find some sort of way to break those rules to kind of make it fun, to make it interesting. And people are like, yeah, you're somebody who can like adhere to the rules, but you know how to like dance on top of those things in a way that is it's fun. It makes other people kind of chuckle or laugh, or it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, let me try something like that. That'll make this a little more fun, a little more daring, a little more exciting. Any kind of risks that you've taken as far as fashion is concerned, these are things that have worked very well according to other people. And this energy, this fierce feminine energy, definitely speaks to the fact of like you are somebody who just, you exude sensuality. There's something about you, even kind of back to the energy of your voice, that just sort of purrs. There's like a feline quality about that, where it's just kind of like your energy just sort of slinks into a situation. You come in quickly and then you disappear just as quickly. Something about like your choice of words, the way in which you use inflection, you use your voice in a very empowered way. This is something which gathers attention, it attracts people, or your energy itself even is something that announces your presence, long before it's apparent. You're somebody that couldn't be hidden in plain sight if you tried to be. There's a sense too as well that you know how to like weaponize silence appropriately. You know when to speak, and you know when to be quiet, and that this is something that it feels like makes other people really value and respect direct interactions with you, because you're not just kind of like endlessly chatty, you're not just sort of like nervous chatter. There's almost a sense of kind of like you understand this sort of power of the voice, this throat chakra energy, this like solar plexus chakra energy. You're very empowered with your speech, with your speaking. If you have an accent, you may not even think you have an accent, but for some of you, you might, or the way you say things, like even if you mispronounce words, people find that to be very endearing, very sexy, very attractive. And this energy with Medusa is like, you're not afraid to say the uncomfortable truths. You're not afraid to like own your personal power. There's a sense that, again, even like if people have misjudged you or have done you wrong in the past, maybe this is something that is known, or something that is just kind of like, if you live life long enough, you've had somebody that's done you dirty. It's just the nature of the human experience. It's kind of like you don't live in the past. You don't spend time kind of like, I'm going to get that person back, or, I'm going to tell everyone about what has occurred and what has happened. It's like you don't stoop to that level. You've risen above that in some sort of way. Like you carry the scars of maybe like betrayal, or, opening up to the wrong people, allowing the wrong people in, keeping secrets for people that maybe didn't do the same turn for you. And so there's a sense of almost like you are cautious with who you share a lot of yourself with. You're very direct, which kind of like weeds out people that are just sort of, here to play games, or very opportunistic. So people find that to be very like attractive, very, very appealing, that it's like time spent with you is time well spent. And there's a sense of confidence that a lot of people have, that to open up about themselves, to share information about themselves, or to get close to you, that you're somebody who is not likely to betray others. You are not someone who is likely to, play nice to someone's face and then turn around and sort of, do the opposite behind their back. You're very much like a what you see is what you get kind of person. And so it's like a lot of people find that to be very attractive or appealing. So let's get some initials. This could be a first, middle, or last name, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We have T, N, K, H, O, R, A, R, V, P, T, E, and Z. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.